Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have him back because he's got great news for us. Terry Lynch, he's the CEO of Power Nickel. You can guess what they do. Trades in Canada under the stock symbol PNPN. For friends in the United States under CMETF. For those new to the story, here's what you need to know. Power Nickel secured the option to acquire up to 80% of the Nisk Project from Critical Elements Lithium, which trades on the TSX Venture Exchange. The Nisk is a large land position with numerous historical high-grade nickel intercepts and a historical 43-101 in a jurisdiction with a number of mining projects and incredible infrastructure. The last 43-101 that was put on 2009, 1.25 million tons at 1.1% effectively nickel, measured, indicated 783 tons at 1% nickel, 3,000 tons, and inferred just over 1 million tons at 0.81% nickel. It's a fantastic project. In today's press release, Power Nickel continues extension of mineralization with high-grade results at Nisk. Terry, welcome back. How happy are you with these results today before we get into the details? Big picture, how happy are you with the results?
Very, very happy, George. You know, it's these are really great holes any way you look at it. And we sort of very encouraged because it sort of substantiates the old historical resource, which obviously we need to update and get out there, which we'll talk about. But yeah, these were hot holes, and we think there's more of them coming.
Put these numbers into perspective because a lot of us aren't geologists. The two holes, one, 27.5 meters of 0.94% nickel and 8.4 meters of 1.45% nickel. Give us some context around that.
Yeah, so the 27 meter, because this is a polymetallic deposit, we have significant amounts of copper, cobalt, and the PGE group. So in nickel EQ terms, using like I use it internally 1150 nickel. God knows what it is now. It seems like it's $20, but I used 1150. It would have been around like the big intersection would have been about 1.7% nickel EQ, and the smaller intercept would have been about 2.35. So those are very high numbers, and generally speaking, with nickel being in such a state, this will become a very, I think, to the market, they'll start to see this as a commercial project fairly quickly. And it's interesting, you look at the divergence in valuations between, say, a commercial nickel project like Talon Metals, which the market has said is going to become a mine, and its deposit's worth about $1 billion now. And then all the other nickel deposits, which are, ranging from probably were like 25 up to, 50 million, these things seem to trade. And so the market, I would say, has said that they're not necessarily going to become a nickel project. Well, I think they're going to start to take the approach that, Power Nickel is going to become a nickel mine. It's going to get commercial. So there's going to be a massive jump in valuation. We're getting paid, George, something in the neighborhood of 21 cents a nickel in the ground for what we've discovered today. Okay, historically.
21 cents per pound of nickel that you
21, yeah, and
now.
Talon Metals is getting $1.86 for what they've discovered. That's, so we think we can obviously find a lot more because we're showing that with our assay results, and we think that discrepancy will shrink. So we think there's many great days ahead for Power Nickel, and this is just one of them.
Well, you say it right. I'm going to read your excerpt from your quote in the press release. These results are indicating that Nisk could have the potential to host a commercial high-grade nickel sulphate deposit. I mean, you wouldn't be using terms like that pretty loosely, right?
No. I mean,
you and your team must have a great deal of confidence.
Yeah, obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done. We still have to, go through the various phases of actual mine development and to de-risk it completely. But these are the types of numbers that you want to see to believe that you got a commercial deposit. And for us, the next steps are pretty simple. We're going to get back in there and start drilling pretty much right away. We're pricing out another 5,000 meter program that will activate like almost immediately. And, we'll look to move this, we're going to update our 43-101. The group that did our modeling that helped us to have a such a successful drill program so far, are doing the 43-101. So we expect to have that out in April. So that's going to be an action item. You know, we got so one more release on the current drill program, and then the updated 43-101. Then our drills are going to be back in the field. You know, it'll be fully funded and rolling. So yeah, we're getting after it.
And your timing couldn't be better because the nickel market is.
I want to say I planned that, George, but no, I didn't plan that. But
it's amazing what's happened to the nickel market.
Yeah, you know, obviously when we bought the thing, we thought nickel had, you know, we were in the gold copper business, and we bought that because we felt this was closer to becoming a bona fide deposit that you could, you know, build the mine on and de-risk things for our shareholders. So that's why we did it. And we felt the nickel future price curve looked more promising, you know, than gold. And
you hit the nail on the head. I wish I'd bought nickel when you were thinking that.
Yeah. So that's why we did it. And as it turned out, you know, now I didn't see it going to $20, but you know, it was under 5 when we bought it. I thought it would go to the low teens, you know, over the next 12 to 18 months. And I think we're probably likely to get there. So I mean, it's beyond that now. I think it'll come back, but still these mines would be enormously profitable at those prices.
Right. And here's the headline today. The London Metal Exchange temporarily froze trading in nickel after restarted from a week-long suspension due to last week's historic short squeeze. For a short squeeze to take place, it means somebody was betting, even though the number may not be real right now, at $45,000 per ton. You know, somebody out there obviously didn't think nickel had a great future, but the market basically told it it does. So would that tell you, Terry, that nickel pricing is bullish right now in general?
Yeah, I think it's bullish. I mean, I look at that current pricing, there's a couple elements in there. It wasn't that somebody was really speculating on the nickel market. What happened was obviously the Russian situation hit, and that took like maybe 20% of the nickel off the market in almost overnight. And what happened was that the major manufacturer of nickel products in China, you know, had part of his, you know, normal course business of managing their work in process inventory, had derivatives set up to, and of course they went afoul because of the situation, and the very sharp traders realized they were in a pickle and they squeezed them. You know, so that, you know, so it wasn't like a massive speculation. It was just a, you know, historic event, really. But it, you know, it sort of hammers home the fact that ultimately the supply and demand curve, which is what drives pricing in all these commodities, for nickel is looking very favorable for, you know, a very bullish nickel price. We're basically have more demand than supply, which means prices are going up. You know, so you know, I think we couldn't be in a better spot, and we're super fortunate to be in Canada and in Quebec, right? You know, this is a great place. We're literally across the road from a major Hydro-Quebec substation. You know, I can't imagine an easier build in terms of constructing a mine and making it ESG friendly, which is going to be significant these days in terms of, you know, getting your contracts in place with strategic investors and users. So it's hitting all the buttons here. So the market hasn't woken up to this yet, but one day they will, one day soon. I'm in Europe right now, just first time in a couple of years, given COVID. I'm actually over doing face-to-face with, you know, I'm in Switzerland right now, and then I'm going to London, and I'm getting a lot of very positive response.
I was about to ask you, what's the reception like?
Yeah.
What is the,
yeah,
been
great.
feedback
You know,
for?
they're super interested in what we're doing, and super understanding that this is a really cheap deal. And it's sometimes honestly, George, it's so cheap that it's almost too good to be true. I mean, it's like it's trading at a fraction of what it should be, like a 10th in my mind. And that seems like, why? Well, the reason why is because nobody even knew we existed. We haven't really stepped on the gas here. We did that financing last year at 25 and 40 cents last May. So you're basically buying at the old financing, but we took that money, put it in the ground, and we basically delivered the goods. We are delivering nickel results that are going to justify that historical resource, so it's going to make it a real current 43-101. So yeah, it's exciting times, and I think now I'm advocating and I'm saying to people, this is a hell of a nickel story. If you like nickel, you should own some power nickel, and you know that will change because now the evidence is there that supports this. Is just not some, that old joke about, what's a gold mine? It's a liar with a hole.
With a hole in the ground.
So this is not a liar with a hole. I think we've got the goods here.
Yeah, and you've already got an older 43101. You can't rely on it, but that proves that there's definitely substance there. Now you're updating it. April's just around the corner. You can't wait for that.
No.
But then you're going to start drilling your next 5,000 meter. By the way, are there more assay results coming out before?
Yeah, there's
then?
one more release coming. Yeah, we're just waiting on that. Could be tomorrow, but it's not tomorrow. It'll probably be early next week. I'm hoping that's when we'll get the results in.
So then you get those results. Out comes the 43101. It obviously it looks good right now. That you guys will be very confident. What does the rest of the year look like after that in terms of when you start drilling, how long that drilling will take place, and the cadence for assays starting to come back?
Yeah, so we're literally looking for rigs now to get the this 5,000 meter program activated and out the door. And so I would think, I don't know how quickly we can get them, but I would say latest would be end of May, and earliest would be maybe we could get in there in mid-April. We'll just see. We want to do it as quickly as we can. We know where we're going with this. It's about adding tonnage, and we'll do that. And then in terms of the good analogy was we basically drilled November, December, and we got results back starting in I think March 1st. So basically, now Christmas was in there, so I would say
Christmas plus Omicron was in there, so things like
so
times 3 slowed down.
Yeah, so I would think if we start drilling, we start shipping the assays right away. You're looking at sort of, if we're drilling in end of May, we're probably getting some results back in August. So it's and we'll keep on, right? The plan will be keep on drilling and really not stop drilling until we as long as we're finding a good analogy in my mind. If you look at Talon Metals, they had 11 million tons, about $1 billion market cap for that deposit. That's like 90 million per ton for that deposit. So what's ours worth? I don't know. It's obviously not worth as much as theirs because there's a little higher grade, but it's worth 70, 80 million a ton, something in that order of magnitude is my guess. So the more tons you can add, that just adds the math. So in these projects globally, worldwide, these nickel sulfate projects are between 8 and 50 million tons. That's the range. So at 8, you're commercial, and then you just keep on adding. So
how far away are you from that right now, Terry? How far are you away from
my gut feeling is probably after this round, we could be close to 4 million tons. So we're almost halfway there, and it looks to us like we can get to that 8 on just the one, 8 to 10 on that one Nisk main. And again, historically, the worldwide, these nickel sulfate mines are not like a single open pit. It's typically 3 or 4 pods. And so we found pod 1, Nisk West. We've already drilled historically. There were some intercepts that were interesting, so we'll get back in there. There's 2 other, very good looking geological features, Wildcat West and East, that look like they have the same sort of look to them, and we'll get out and drill those. So we're hoping to get a multi-pod situation here, which would be awesome. And then the other thing is that this has been very shallow drilling. I think 80% of our holes have been within 100 meters. So we're going to drill a bit deeper, and there may be some another layer of nickel. And that's one of the things that really made us excited about this project, was that the optionality on this thing was off the charts. A chance to sort of get to commercial with the Nisk main, but maybe there's more pods, maybe the thing's stacked underneath with multiple sort of streams of nickel. And then every now and again in these things, these pods are halos over a VMS. So maybe underneath this is Voisey's Bay. You never know. And the great thing is you're not paying for it. It's a free look. So we can get to a very healthy, super attractive commercial return on Nisk main alone. But there's all sorts of optionality around this thing. So that's what makes us excited as miners to see that. And we think that could be very exciting for investors as well.
And right now I wouldn't even use the current price of nickel, because obviously there's been it's kind of artificial, but even if it gets back to, what it might've been just beforehand, you guys are pretty comfortable. You potentially are economic right now.
I mean, yeah, if we had 10 million tons of this stuff right now, we would be, you know, and you know, we wanted to sell it as to be a nickel mine, we would be deluged by offers for sure. I think, yeah, it's a really great spot to build, and this would be a very commercial build.
And I know there's no precision in this, but you know, if everything went well with the next round of 5,000, the next 5,000 meter drilling program, and then obviously you recalibrate at that point based on what you got. But if everything was going as expected, how long do you think until you can get to the market with definitively saying, yeah, we're now at commercial tonnage and grade? And
Yeah, so I would say probably we need another. So this program maybe, you know, takes you into the probably 6+ million tons. Then it starts to look really good, right? And then you probably need another one like this or double the size in the fall to take you to the 10 million tons. So I think you need to drill basically about 20,000 meters, 25,000 meters in total to get to 10 million tons.
how much money would you have to raise in addition to what you've got in order to get there? Just to give us an indication of what.
Yeah, so you basically think about $200 a ton all in for the drilling. So
$200 a ton or a meter, sorry?
Per meter, yeah. So
okay.
So if you have 20,000 meters times 200, you know, that would give you the number in terms of the math.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it's about $4 or $5 million.
$4 million, yeah. So yeah,
and the money's out there for nickel right now, right? The money's out there.
And we're getting money in now. Like we had about $4 million worth of warrants that are in the money, and you know, we're getting those redemptions now, and so we're getting cash in, and so I think we're in good shape that way. And
well, that's great.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's interesting, and you know, it's amazing since we put that last release out, the number of calls I've received from you know, significant investors and significant industry types. You know, so it's like, you know, people are now, this project is is definitely on the horizon. People can see, hey, this one's got a good look to it.
And I've seen power nickel starting to pop up. People are starting, it's starting. It's almost like it's starting to percolate. So the great news is that's great third-party validation, right, Terry, that you've got companies and investors actually noticing and making calls to you.
Yep.
I'm assuming some want to partner with you, some want to finance you.
Yep. Yeah, all of the above, you know, so that's all good. So now you know, our job now as a board is just to navigate, to you know, to you know, bring the most bacon we can home for our shareholders. So that's who we work for, you know, so that's what we're basically trying to get the story out now, get out there. Like we're now, you know, pressing the case in Europe, and obviously there are more, in some cases, a bit more sensitive to the battery aspects here and the development, you know, on the energy side. So there's a lot of interest here in that respect. So yeah, I think we've got a good, you know, couldn't pick a better market to be out there selling this particular concept and this opportunity. So we're blessed in that respect.
Your timing's perfect, and April is just right around the corner for the updated 43-101.
Yeah,
can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be
but
awesome.
In between that, we're gonna have another set of assay results. So you and I are probably gonna be speaking 2 more times, right, in the next 3-4 weeks.
That's exactly right, George.
Well, you know, congratulations again on this milestone. This is great. And really looking forward, Terry, to what's going to be delivered with the next set of assay results, and then the updated 43-101. But your timing couldn't get better. You got this project a year ago or so. You know, when you secured this option from Critical Elements, they must be loving you because you're well, you know,
they were smart because they took stock, right? They were smart. They recognized they needed someone to activate this and make it happen for them. They couldn't lose their focus on their great lithium project, which is another. I mean, I love Critical Elements. I think it's a hell of a stock. I'm a big shareholder, but they can't deviate from the lithium focus. But this was a way for them to get the most value for their interest. So they're obviously they're our biggest shareholder. So they're benefiting as well, and they know what this can do in terms of valuation. So they've been through that pathway.
And would it be fair to
Great.
say that either after the 43-101 or at some kind of important milestone, Critical Elements will probably put their weight behind the name also, because say, hey, we're the largest shareholder of Power Nickel and we're really happy with the results or whatever. I'm assuming at some point they're going to start chiming in that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you notice in our last two releases, they're in there. I mean, we jointly released those, so they're super supportive right now and always have been, and we're really pleased with that relationship, and they're a very productive business partner and shareholder.
Well, Terry, they definitely knew what they had in you guys as a partner. You guys are delivering. I'm excited about what's going on already. Can't wait for the next assays. Can't wait for the 43-101. And it's all going to happen next 30, 40 days or so. So can't wait to have you back, and the best of success in Europe talking to whoever you're talking to out there.
Great, George. Thanks for having us.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Terry Lynch. He's the CEO of Power Nickel. If you're a nickel investor, if you're a potential nickel investor and you're looking around for great companies, then you've got to start doing your due diligence on Power Nickel. We can't tell you what to do, but we can direct you to where to get all the information. First, get the company's profile page on Agoracom, because there's a lot going on here. So we got summarized in a great way to give you a good 1,000-foot overview of the company, of Nisk and everything. And then once you're comfortable with that, you've got your good foundational info, head right over to the Power Nickel website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Cheers.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.